All right. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, June 8th, 2022. It is 9 a.m. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and I will call this meeting to order. If you have your cell phones with you, please silence them at this time.
I forgot to turn it on yesterday.
And Bill, if you would lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
We gotta set that backward clock right, even if it is going back.
Doesn't stay. Kelly, could we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Day,
Here.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Flower,
Present.
Attorney Clint Smith was absent, and clerk to the board Kelly Camper present.
All right, thank you. Audience introduction. That would be you.
Oh, McDonald Airport operations.
Dorothy Carson, BOCC admin.
All right, thank you, guys. And if we have any comments later, if we could identify ourselves for the record, that would be great. Do we have any amendments to the agenda this morning?
None from me.
None here either. We have no minutes. Commissioner items. Commissioner Farr. Nothing, sir. Commissioner Kanda.
No, I'll be talking about it. I've been working the power supply for the recycle, and we'll hear about that in the item.
Okay. The only thing I have is I did attend the Lawrence Volunteer Fire Department meeting last night. Probably here in the near future, I will try to get on their agenda to meet with them to see if they're ready to pursue an MOU yet or anything in regards to ambulance service. They still have a couple of slots they need to fill on their EMS. But I think that within a couple of months, they should be ready to start looking at doing that. So maybe if I could meet with them and see what they're looking for an MOU, I could bring it back.
Yeah,
Let's hear it.
they want to do it, right?
Yes. Right now, it's still a matter, even with the pay, it is difficult for them to
Run up here.
to fill their slots.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess during that meeting last night, they said AMR is offering, I forget how many thousands of dollars they're offering as a sign-on bonus, and they've
Wow.
upped their wages tremendously lately, trying to find help.
They're having problems.
Denver, Springs, Pueblo, I guess up north, they're bringing them in out of state to try to fill slots for AMR and stuff. So very hard to fill all those slots. So it's not a localized problem. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I heard on the news too, there's a shortage of MRI dye, medical supply, so it's gonna get tight in the emergency world.
Okay, that is all I have. We won't have any attorney items this morning. Dorothy, do you have anything for us?
I do. I'm excited to let everybody know that Sheriff Hill will probably be joining our next monthly meeting. He hasn't decided which day, Tuesday or Wednesday, but we're gonna get him on the agenda. Uh-huh.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
That's great.
Thank you. Any public comment this morning? Anything that is not on the agenda?
Anything bothering you, Bob?
There's only
county employees on today.
Okay, I'm not seeing any hands raised either. Okay, staff reports. I believe that you are up, sir.
Okay.
Take the electric chair.
Oh,
I mean, the witness chair.
Yeah. Where's the hanging light, you know? Okay. Let me get my spectacles here. All right. Okay, let's see. We'll start off with the fuel report for the month of June. Let's see, we sold 529 gallons. Well, and 0.6, so 529.6 gallons sold.
Thank you.
Revenue is $2,642.70. That leaves us,
You said 26.
42.7.
yeah, 2642.70. That leaves us with 2,900.6 gallons in the tank. Almost 3,000 gallons. Let's see, obviously the tank has been delivered and set in place. We're working on working with some electricians to get some bids for the 220, et cetera, electrical hookup to it. And also working with some concrete contractors, so they can, pull the existing pump out when it's needed and update the new circular ramp, so it's a nice flow for, planes getting in and out.
Mhm.
And then a demo of the existing concrete.
We get one guy to demo the old after they pull it, and put in the new.
Yeah, so we're gonna, we were thinking it might be best to do that towards or after the air show. Because we don't want to upset, because that's gonna be a long process, so, well, it could be a couple weeks. So we're gonna do it, we think in September.
Makes
This
sense.
way, everything, the weather gets a little,
I could still park a food van on it.
yeah, there you go. So, long story short, we're moving on that. Obviously, so it's not hooked up yet. Other than that, things have been pretty stable and slow. Brian Anderson is at the Grand Junction meeting as we speak. I was gonna go, but I dismissed you guys,
Very good.
so.
We're really glad you're here, Bob.
Yeah, especially since I didn't send you the official staff report, so. That's really all we have. It's been, just catching up, small repairs here and there, but everything is looking good.
I know Braden's been busy, but he needs to get a hold of you
Excuse me.
on budget stuff. Has Braden talked to you a little bit about it?
That, no, we didn't talk to,
Because they're being audited and there's some things that come up
okay.
on how to book it and not show you negative. in the
Yeah, I
books.
haven't heard anything on that, but when is that happening?
The next,
What's that?
Braden's gonna be talking with him on the
Oh.
budget stuff when he gets a chance.
Okay.
But we'll talk about it. There'll be time. But I do personally, I have a question on the AWAS is finally getting its last invoices. So we're gonna be able to spend down the rest of the balance that's in there. So it would be nice to know what you guys think you have in your budget.
For maintenance.
Not, yeah, well, no, it's for whatever you use your budget as you need it.
Right.
We're gonna have to match the rest of the
The
grant.
funds. right.
Yeah, which is $1,000 or so.
I believe JC mentioned we were in pretty good shape. I don't know the particulars.
Okay, well, I'll just ask him to give me a call and we'll figure it out. Then I asked Dorothy to work that won't be paid till the end of the month anyway, so. Got time.
I know we're in pretty good standing otherwise, I mean, budget wise. So,
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Are you aware, or can you share with us what the airport's official connection to Bill Good is?
Bill,
Good.
is this being recorded?
Yes, it is. That's why I asked for your official
Okay,
assessment.
there's, I mean, he owns some land at the airport, you know, the warehouse.
That's not on the airport property.
It is not. So technically, he has no official business
Okay.
whatsoever. He's been trying to get on the airport board, but
He's made us
There's
very
no-
aware of that.
no spots available, I believe,
Okay,
and that's it.
all right.
He has been coming to meeting periodically.
He has
A couple
been, yeah.
times I.
Yeah. The
noticed
last few minutes he's been showing up.
Well, he apparently has an issue with the decision that the commissioners made about down zoning a piece of property, but he keeps mixing in the airport.
He keeps
with it.
going in
And I
circles.
don't believe the airport is involved, but I wanted to ask you about that. So,
This is raised,
yes,
that last,
yeah, that we did down at the airport.
Decommercialized it.
yeah, no. I believe, again, that's not airport
Okay,
property, so
that's all I was interested in. I know the rest of that seems to be
Okay.
between him and us, or him and
Ray.
the other owner, and we have no part and parcel to it. We made a decision, that's the end of it, so. But he just keeps dragging stuff into it, so. Perfect, thank you.
that's,
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
that's it.
Okay.
That's all I have, gentlemen.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in.
Well, I did have one other question.
Yes,
You all worked with the question that the CDOT aviation group had. I mean, just a summary, you guys had discussed it at your last board and I didn't get caught up on it.
you're talking like the runway improvement?
Yeah, Caitlin's request on how we're doing with chip seal or what our plan is, whatever it was.
Yeah, so basically everything's moving. Armstrong
Yeah,
has got everything underway, and part of why Brian really wanted to make this meeting is to, nail down a few details to, what do you call it? Make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
Keep things moving, so. That's happening now, I guess.
mhm. So he'll get back to us. when
Yes,
it's-
yeah, we'll have more details.
So that's a different set pot of money. And so I just
Right, and he's looking into the CIP thing too. And
make sure, that's what her question was, making sure what we're doing is what we had planned.
so he's doing his due diligence and trying to keep it all moving.
Good.
When's your next board meeting?
The next meeting
Last-
for airport or here?
Airport.
Yeah, the
Let's see,
airport.
it would be the first Thursday of the month.
Okay.
So
The first.
July
I guess it'd be.
something.
You had it on the second.
It'd be, well, the first Thursday is July 1st, or that'd be that first Thursday.
So
I think you guys are talking about moving.
I think we'll do it. So I showed up here last week because it was the first Tuesday, and nobody was here.
Thursday is the 7th of July.
It'd be the 7th.
The 7th is yeah, it would be the 7th.
So that's when you.
Oh, okay, so we'll see you on the 6th, is that correct?
It'd be
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. 7th is
Okay.
Thursday.
It was different this month because the first
Because we had to
Thursday of
move.
June is the first.
Right, exactly. So it's the
So-
first unless it isn't.
So the airport board meeting, 9 o'clock,
10.
So yeah, if you can stop by.
10.
Brian brings donuts,
Yeah, it's 10. Tom.
so. As he calls them, world's
Tell him to go to the new donut shop.
Well, that's what he did last
Did he?
week.
Oh,
And
so what's your cut? We're taking a poll.
they're actually pretty good. I had no complaints. Other than,
Okay. That's not the rave that I thought would be, but it's better than none.
listen, they're really good donuts.
Okay.
Good answer.
That's a safe answer.
All right, you're good.
They're up there on the gas price thing, but otherwise,
Yeah, oh, dude, pretty expensive.
yeah, they're,
Well, to cook them in cost money.
you guys enjoy your day. Hey, and listen, everyone have a beautiful,
There he is.
beautiful 4th of July.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How you doing?
Keep
And,
standing here.
yeah, enjoy the 4th. I guess we'll
Thank
see you
you.
after
You're
that.
welcome to stay if you want to bring donuts. You can stay if you bring us a donut.
I have a meeting with town hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Morning, B.
We're done.
Good, buddy. How are you?
All right, morning, sir.
How you doing?
Okay. I'm fine.
Think you're digging it, as we say in the trade. You're-
Yeah, well, not yet. but hopefully soon. Everything
Okay, so we
is,
didn't get your report because you've been busy.
oh, I sent it, I didn't send it till yesterday, so I apologize about that, but
Let me look.
Who'd you send it to?
I sent it to.
BOCC.
Yeah, it's pretty brief. It's basically, everything's as normal. And the state did receive the EDOP, the Engineering Design and Operations Plan for the expansion. That was a week ago, this last Friday, so a week and a half ago. And Jill Parisi responded to the email saying that she got it. So that's good news.
Yeah.
So how long it's gonna take for them to review it, we don't know, but at least they have it. And she confirmed that she does have it, so. With that being said, I got a hold of the surveyor, he came out and he's gonna, as soon as I get a hold of him again, we're gonna go ahead and stake the trenches. And then I'm gonna get a hold of the cat to get the scraper on ranch or hold or whatever, however that works. Because we decided we're gonna dig that first trench while we wait for the approval. So,
And use the airspace above.
yep, and use the airspace above trench E,
Hmm.
which we've got about, I'm gonna guess probably a month left.
Filling up quick, I was out
Yeah.
there dumping the other day.
Yeah. So probably a month, and then we'll have to put, 2 feet up on the west end and work our way to the east,
And still daily cover 2 feet or whatever.
6 inches.
6 inches.
Mhm.
But I mean, 2 feet.
2 feet of trash.
6 inches a day.
Yeah.
So we have that distance to daily cover one time.
Yep.
Okay.
And they projected, Golder engineers, they said probably 4 months to go the whole length. So,
Good, that'll give us a little breathing room.
Yeah. What else? Kathy, the recycling new coordinator, came out and met Dennis, and I showed her around the landfill. And so that's good. She's excited, and we're gonna, obviously work together, but the landfill is gonna be separate, but we're gonna work together, of course. So definitely excited about that.
She mornings or afternoons or,
We're not quite sure yet.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't know hours of operation.
not yet. Well, the hours, I think, for the actual facility will be,
For 8 to
it'll be what the
Same
landfill
plan.
is.
8 to 4.
8-4. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so.
You still taking brush,
Oh, yes.
burning any?
No, we won't burn until December or whenever we get a snow.
Okay.
Oh, I do one more thing. I do think we need to have a agenda item about the rates at the landfill. And the one example I have are the tires. It costs us $3 to get rid of a small passenger tire, which is anything from a wheelbarrow tire to a light truck tire. And we're only charging $4. And so, that's just something that needs to be talked about.
You got some recommendations.
I'm gonna come up with some, yeah. That's kind of on my to-do list to, do some research and find out, what other counties are doing, but I'm pretty sure we're the lowest in the state when it comes to rates. Oh, hey, Johnny.
Hi. We
So-
are the lowest in this state.
So anyway, just something that we need to think about. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Be interesting if you had the figures, see how many tires a year we do. What?
Yeah,
Bring donuts next time.
You knew you were gonna pay that price, didn't you? Yeah.
yeah,
Be
that's,
Interesting to know how many tires we run through in a calendar year.
that's something that's easy to figure because I have to do the annual
Yeah.
tire report every March. And, I think already this year I've spent over 3,000 just getting rid of tires because it's, they're just piling
What do you
up.
do with the bands when they burn down? You burying them or you just
Bands.
recycling the steel bands in the tires?
No, Interwest, a company out of Fountain, they come get the
Do they
tires.
really? Cool.
That's why they charge us.
Well,
they
they're
charge us.
calling and doing it there. I thought you.
They're
were
doing,
burning
no,
them
no,
They
no.
don't burn
We
them
can't
either,
burn
do
here.
they?
You can't burn them.
I don't know what they do. They grind them up. I don't know. But- So that's just an example.
We
of
need a
what-
grant for a tire grinder.
Actually, there was a
No.
neat presentation at CCI about tire grounds,
yeah.
the road base, deep,
Oh, yeah, interesting.
not this time, but
So yeah, that's all I have.
I'd say your tires are totally separate. Road and Bridge has their own,
Road Bridge has their own too.
does the same outfit comes and gets theirs, or do you know?
I believe so.
I know they picked up quite a few earlier this year that were
Yeah,
scattered out down there
Yeah.
on the other end of the county.
right. Yep, so they, I'm sure that's who they used to.
Good. And you're okay to burn slash at the landfill.
Correct. I have the CDPHE has issued a permit. And they issue us a permit every January. I have to, go on their website. And it allows me to burn an 8x8 pile. That's it.
One time or,
No, you can,
At a
you can add to it.
instead of having big blazes. and
Right.
I mean, you can do that more than once a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like 20, I think it's
8
50.
by 8's not much.
I think it's 50 piles
Oh, okay.
limited. I mean, that number may not be right, but it's somewhere right around
I
there.
thought if we got jammed up, look at that chipper, but
Right.
I'd much rather burn it than chip it
Yeah.
at this point.
Flavor
So-
and chipping. 8 by 8's just where
That's not very
It's
big.
not very
Dorothy
big,
yeah.
is. That's a small,
Right.
small campfire.
So I know when we burned down there in Wetmore after that one flood, we had to change because we had 3 big piles.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, Larry and I hadn't been to ask for burn boss.
Burn boss, right?
And so.
Yep.
That had to change.
Right. Yeah, the CDPHE permit's different than, what Wet Mountains permit is. But anyway,
Gotta do what you gotta do.
all right.
Good deal.
Thanks.
So Brian, do you want to be added to the June 30th agenda about the landfill rates?
If these guys want to,
Whenever you're ready.
let's do, can we do it sometime in July? That would give me
Yeah, your choices are July 5th, 6th, or 13th, or 29th.
It comes in on the 6th. Could we put him right
6th.
on his
Yeah.
staff report?
That'd be the way to play that one.
Okay. that works.
It doesn't have to be,
We could put him an agenda item right under his staff report, I believe, can't we?
And put him last and we'll
We'll put him
do
first on
new business.
I can wait around, get rid of the stuff.
We can do you last and make it so you're not sitting here so long.
That might be better than having as a first agenda item. It's
Yeah.
gonna affect citizens of the county. We need to have an agenda item on it.
Okay.
Right, so,
I'd rather do that than have it during the staff report.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
so maybe we can put his staff report last and then that the first agenda item so that he's not spending 2 hours here.
So it'll be 10:30, Brian.
Okay.
Not that there's a problem with you spending 3 hours.
Or-
It's not because you've been at the dump.
Yeah, anywhere between 45 minutes ahead of time and an hour behind time.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
See you, man. Got you.
Contact Laura by chance.
Say that again. sorry.
Could you contact Laura by chance?
I will.
Tell her we're ready for her.
Are we really? Are
Well,
we ever ready for
I have a report. Is that helpful?
her? You have the hard copy of her child welfare.
Yes, I did. Did you guys get a chance to look at that?
Yep. I did too.
How's that coffee, Kelly? Pretty good.
Got plenty of latte in it.
You shouldn't worry about it because you don't drink coffee outside
Yeah.
your first cup at home.
You should feel welcome to drink our coffee. I wouldn't want you to feel like you have to go.
She didn't have to go out.
No,
She
she
had it
did not.
delivered in.
I'll bet you, you're down saying, oh my God, I'm gonna hear it when I walk in there. Hey,
It seems to be a
Johnny.
pretty regular
Hey, Laura Rascal, how are you?
Good.
Welcome back.
getting coffee
Ah, it
delivered.
was awesome.
Was it?
What can I
It
say?
was Indiana, the weather was perfect.
It's good to have
My son has
people
a
that care.
pool, spent the day in the pool house every day, sleeping in the hammock. It was a
Oh,
real
you're gonna be
vacation.
here.
It was
We were waiting for Laura, but you're.
I told her to come
here early, so.
Yes.
late around.
Is this the
10 o'clock
same one?
Monday night.
Yep. One's for you to keep, the other one's for you to
Midnight.
sign, the one that's marked,
So
and give it to Kelly.
so when I saw your email, I think I answered it.
Am I supposed to
You
do
need
this?
to stay or you gotta go?
I'm gonna come
We were
back.
gonna, we're ahead of schedule. and We were
For that.
gonna
And I
have
think
Laura
Brian
first,
said
but
if
we
he-
may, if she's not
we're both
available, you may be
gonna
up.
Okay, well, I'll go sit down.
My dad will call.
Oh, okay. All right, see you later.
I don't know if she was able to get a hold of Laura.
We got
Why don't we go ahead and do
hot rod
Virginia?
guy here. Let's step on.
Let's go ahead and put her,
Hot rod?
I
Hot
have,
rod. Good morning.
That's a new one.
Yeah, well, leave it up to me.
Dave used to have a really nice Caputi hat.
Okay, no idea what that is, but
Yeah, it was a picture, that's a cartoon that used to be in existence, and I believe the cops were sitting behind the road sign, and he's trying to shut it down before he runs the stop sign.
Yeah.
The car's falling apart.
maybe I'm thinking your husband is hot rod, not you. You ever get a
Not-
speeding ticket
not
coming
really.
to work?
What's that?
Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket coming to work?
No, I've gotten a speeding ticket right after my daughter died. I got a speeding ticket at this because I wasn't paying attention. So. Coming down the hill.
I've done that down there, coming down the hill.
Well, it was coming from Pueblo by the dam there,
You're down over
going
there.
down that hill
Oh.
too.
Yeah, the last one I got, which has been years, I said, yeah, I just wasn't thinking. He said, that's exactly why I'm writing you a ticket, because you don't think.
Gotta think while you're driving.
I thought that's the last time I'm gonna fess up.
You don't ever say that. I was watching my gauge, but it's 5 miles off. I just discovered.
Hello, how are we today?
Good.
Mr. Chairman, I have to take this opportunity to say that for 4 years, this lady was used to hearing from a commissioner. Are there any anomalies? And I think,
No, don't start.
okay, all right.
How about, is there anything of interest that you would like to point out?
Well, we pointed that out yesterday, the airport that we need to get straightened out.
Yeah.
And we're still working with the auditors and I have to go back.
Are they happy, Virginia? Are
No,
they?
no, they're not.
They're not happy. Bummer. You couldn't charm them either?
Oh, there is nothing I could do to try that. Also, well, go ahead and do the report and then I'll. talk to you about my bit.
I'm good with it. You're about where you should be. I asked you that yesterday. You said the income's not coming in, but it's.
Well, yeah, this June 15th is our last payment date. So,
I think that came by, didn't I?
yeah, I think you did.
Okay. Yeah, I did. So all I'm seeing is the airport right now that's
Yeah,
carrying a
that's-
negative balance.
That we need to work on and get fixed. I don't know
Figure out how
what
to
that
look
looks
at
like. Yeah.
I moved to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Is it truly April's or?
It's truly April's.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to accept the treasurer's report for April. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. I'll give you that, and I know you two know how to, what you need to do.
Thank you. She keeps a copy. Okay, the other thing I had is National Forest Pilt money come in. So Title III, which the county general gets, and you guys do your process where you have people of interest and then have to advertise it, decide what you're gonna use it for. It's 21,661.28, and here's a copy of the receipt if you guys want to look at it. And then the rest of it was 122,747.25.
Say that again, Virginia.
122,747.25. Now, a portion goes to Road and Bridge, and a portion goes to C1 School and RE2.
Is that Title I or Title II?
It's Title I. We always call it Title I. They just.
Wow.
Road and Bridge, CE.
I'll give you these.
Okay, thank you.
Total's 12,000, so
18,409.
18.
18,412.09 went to Road and Bridge. 102,822.30 went to C1, and 1,512.86 went to RE2. And we have to split that up according to the most goes to the school, because then they ding us if we don't give the most to the school. So we try to get as much as we can to the school. So Road and Bridge kind of gets let out on that, but that's.
So I get half of my property tax and 100,000 pill. School, our school.
What was that?
I say the school here.
Yeah,
Gets half of my property tax and
2,000.
2,000 pill money.
But if you don't give it to them, then they ding us and we don't get as much. So that's the way they say it.
So if you were to add up what the county is going to end up with, what do you get?
The county will get that 21,000. That's what the county gets.
We don't get into
That's
that
it.
Title
None of the others, not.
Road and Bridge gets some and the schools
That's,
get some.
yeah, that's really what I meant, road and bridge.
How do they figure
What,
that?
what does road and bridge get out?
Well,
I missed writing in there.
18,412.09.
412.
I kind of figured out myself. I just kind of give them X amount because normally they get like 18, 19 around in there. So I just figured that out and then I give the rest to the schools.
So it's not like a percentage or.
No, well, on the school, it is a percentage that goes by pupil count.
Changes in.
Yeah, we have to get a figure from the state for the pupil count and then that's how we have to figure it out for the school. But like I said, if you don't give the majority of it to the school, then they'll ding us next year.
We do get some title or pilt money, correct?
Correct, and it's
That's in the
what we
fall.
usually put in, well, usually we get it by June,
Huh?
but you never know anymore. Things are kind of behind at the
That
state, I
goes in the
think.
general fund.
Mhm.
So what came in the other, did both of these come in already, or just the
Yeah,
Title III?
no, this, all of this that I told you has come in.
It's all the pill.
Do you want to see this?
No, it's fine. You don't have an idea of the fund balance for Title III monies.
I don't know how to look that up in CIC. In ACS, I could have looked it up in a
I'm
heartbeat.
gonna guess it's put us around 60.
Well, I gave Dorothy yesterday some of the paperwork I had for her to look it up, and when I get a minute, I'm gonna try and search that.
I think you're right, we were carrying
I
like
think I have
45,000.
Spreadsheet, because Guinevere and I were talking about that, and I said, he said it's silly to not have a,
Right.
so she came up with a spreadsheet, and I have a copy of that, I think, oh, I can send you guys.
I don't have access to the funds, so I can't look it up.
Well, it's hard to look it up
Yeah.
to the
No
funds.
problem. I thought we were carrying about 31 or maybe
Yeah,
41. I don't remember.
that's,
I
yeah,
had it written down, but
I know when Brenda was here, she had 48,000
yeah,
bottom line on when she did it, but that's how many years ago.
yeah. Yeah.
And last year you didn't expend any?
No, year before we did. We're done expending until we get some treasury money. You're in charge of that.
I'm not. Just as far as receipting it.
She's the receiver.
Good.
Okay?
Yep.
All righty,
Thank you very much, ma'am.
you're welcome.
Come in anytime.
Might call Adrian up. too.
I text him, but I haven't. called him.
Thanks, Virginia.
You're welcome.
It might have been going off of yesterday, but before we even got to staff reports, we were already way behind.
That's what I.
Let the new person do that.
And they always do it double because one goes to cash and one goes to, yeah, cash.
okay, thanks.
See you later, kiddo.
Uh-huh.
We still have Laura, we have Vernon, and we have Adrian.
Well, maybe we take a short break, huh?
I would be for that. Why don't we take a quick break while we're waiting
Have
on.
a
Good
glass
idea.
of Kelly's coffee.
Got a call.
Share that. Sure. Wait, oh,
I jump in the line?
no,
Okay,
I think so. Good morning.
good morning.
I'm not running the meeting, but
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
we're flexible.
Be safe,
So
Vernon.
we did cancel our short break, but
Oh, okay.
It was a very short break.
it was a very short break. So I guess since I said we were taking a break, we will now reconvene at 9:38 a.m.
I can go away and come back maybe next month.
Yeah.
I think we
It's a
could,
very short break.
Okay.
we could go through your report first.
Well, the only thing I'm, besides the day-to-day is the new website that sent you another link for.
Yeah, saw it.
Like to go live with that. If we're able to.
Does that mean the old website goes down or are you gonna carry them both?
No, we're not gonna do that again. I'm gonna just move it over to the new website.
It just automatically hits it. You know, when they open it up, it'll be a whole new picture.
You came in as spam, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Probably
I
because I
see,
didn't have any,
It looks like Dry Lake. What lake is that?
possibly.
think
It's
it's
definitely
dry.
up here in these
It's
mountains.
Dry Lake.
Yep. So navigation up there at the top, you see you see the fire ban information, the agendas, road conditions, Zoom link, everything, and COVID links right there where everybody comes in. We have a couple different ways to do each thing. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see the little pancake stack. If you click on that.
Love your weather
Can you
report.
go-
Jeez.
Can you go back off of that? for a
Yes,
second?
sir.
Okay, the light was
Oh,
shining on
understood.
it. I just couldn't see it. Yeah, okay, so I see it now, yeah.
So there's a little pancake there that you click on and it's
Pancake where? The
on the
cloud?
left-hand side.
Right there where it says Custer County, Colorado.
Yeah.
Next to-
Oh, the stack.
The
Yes.
stack.
It's not a pancake, it's a stack.
It's a stack of pancakes.
There you go.
Next-
Some people call it the pancake, some people call it
I've never heard it ever called pancake.
some people call it the hamburger.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I call it the little thingy.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that would be.
Thing on the left.
Very,
Thing on the
very
left,
descriptive,
Whatever it is.
very descriptive indeed.
So home is what we see.
So when you come in on the front page, you're gonna see the home page. Then you click on the, basically it's a menu bar. And you'll get a drop down of everything that, all the web pages that normally would be listed across the top. We basically, so we wanted to go with the Revise and Civic Plus. They have a distinctive style. We didn't get funding for that, so we created this ourselves. And it mimics that format. Anything you click on, it's all the same information, but in a little bit different fashion. It's actually formatted for a larger screen, so people can have more access to the information. And we are ready to go.
So is there a general contact government? A lot of places have them. For a contact number.
Contact pages?
No, just sort of like the booklets that we get. If it's for a county, there's a contact number to call if you you don't know where to go, you're searching for something, asking a question on hours or whatever.
Like a search function?
Yeah,
Number.
yeah.
4207 is listed at the bottom of every page. But we do have a resource and contact page, just like the
Yeah. Oh, there's resources.
Yep, resources, and it lists the entire contact page of all of the county offices.
Okay.
Can I ask this stupid question? Where does that 4207 number actually dive into?
That dials into the auto attendant, so it allows anyone to access any office that they want to go
You
to.
hear there's a voice saying,
Oh, okay.
for Laura, call this.
But they
Or-
don't, because they're always, we're getting calls and it's going to some random.
I know, it's
thing,
kinda
and
weird.
then these guys or somebody is transferring it to us. That's why I was wondering.
Well,
They probably just don't know.
the auto attendant, what we found is that a lot of people just hit the first number.
Sure, that's exactly what.
So we'll put yours as the first number if you like.
No, no, no.
Put it,
But
give
then
it
they'll say,
Laura's.
so should I call you back at this number? And I'm going, no, I want you to call me at my number.
And those would be specific office numbers?
Yes, and so we're giving them those, but
Okay.
they have a tendency to call into that real little number.
Mhm.
And so I just wondered where it went. So, okay, thank
Okay,
you.
I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
What's your thought on what the calendar's supposed to do when you open it up? What's that calendar for? Is it the county calendar? Is it a calendar that would show all BOCC meetings?
Generally, it's
Sheriff's things or what?
in
What
the
is it?
past, it's just been BOCC and everybody else runs their own calendar. So for instance, Extension Office has a list of their events on their website,
So,
and the Sheriff's Office has their own calendar.
right, so that's, but this is listed under resources, not listed under commissioners. You come up with calendar.
I have added Deb to that because she
Okay.
requested that we added tours and meetings.
Oh, I see, okay. Well, and that's,
So-
that we're flexible on that.
Well, I'm
if
just
you want to.
curious because people will go to this and there won't be anything on it.
Mhm.
They'll go to the commissioners and they'll see commissioner meetings and count. So you don't want to confuse them, maybe you tie this with the commissioner, I don't know. If you load something on the commissioners meeting, can you get it on this community calendar page?
So
Automatically?
you want it to create, you want it to be a community calendar?
I don't know,
not
it
just a-
comes across that way because
Okay.
I'm not advocating one way or the other, I'm just saying,
County calendar, right?
yeah, it's a county, I don't mean community, I meant the county.
County itself.
All
Okay.
agencies in the county schedule something could populate this calendar or it's just a BOCC calendar. And if it's just a BOCC calendar, then we don't need it here. We just need it under
Under the commissioners.
commissioners.
It's a county calendar, right? That's what it's designed for, airport board or.
We can.
That's what I would think you'd want to do.
It would be a matter of making certain that the different boards and let's say the sheriff's office or somebody communicated that to put that
Right.
information on the calendar.
That's why I'm asking, because we have to have, somebody needs to know what we need to put on it, because nobody has in the past.
Mhm.
So if everybody had their own calendar, like the airport board has their calendars and they could populate it on their site here. It would be neat if it would automatically go here and see every agency on one glance, if you wanted to, or we do away with it. I don't know.
Is that gonna be hard to put everybody's stuff on there, Vernon?
It would be I'd have to explore the options. I don't want to give access to everybody specifically to our calendar because they could change whatever Dorothy puts up there. So I'd have to explore the options on that. It would, I think from what I'm seeing, the workflow would be them scheduling something, communicating to Dorothy, and then she puts it on the official.
Right.
calendar.
Yeah.
And if she puts it on a commissioner's deal, do we care about having it go to this calendar or not? If not, then we probably, this is just gonna confuse people. No, but Mike went to the calendar. I didn't see a meeting. Well, how do you find the commissioners meeting? That'll be the first questions they ask.
On the commissioner pages, but we could move this calendar specifically to the commissioner's page so that it was displayed there, showing the commissioner
BOCC
meetings.
meetings then.
Or we could communicate to all the different entities and say, hey, when you schedule something, you need to
Right.
let Dorothy know that it has to go here.
Right.
And
So-
like, for example, I'll use Deb's meetings, hers or the airport meeting, it's the first Thursday of every month.
So-
You can schedule it out.
That would be
so
cool.
Automatically put it there, and then the only thing they need to let me know is if it's
Just some
canceled
different thing.
or changed.
Right.
So this becomes, then she controls this. Becomes a county calendar that she's
Okay.
controlling for people that have the right to put stuff on. She'll decide.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense.
I think that Dorothy being the gatekeeper would be a good.
Because this will be the first place people go, resources, there's a calendar, I got to see where the BOCC meeting is, or a fair board meeting.
Yes, sir.
So the average person,
Okay.
I'm guessing, we get a lot of calls about the calendar, not just Deb Adams, but a lot.
Right.
Hey, I can't find this.
Right.
When's this schedule? Could we, instead of having it under resources, have county calendar right there or not?
We'd probably do that, or we could put it right up there on the
Put it on the top.
top bar.
You know
What I
I'm
would
saying?
do.
Because
Mhm.
I was gonna say the average person's not gonna know to go to resources to find the calendar.
That's right.
All right, we can put it up there.
Just
All right,
to,
well,
if it's not a huge,
Absolutely right.
Little button.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
it
as far as
goes
I
right
go,
there.
there, stay under resources and have, just put a link to it.
It goes
We
to
can
it,
do on the-
or
on
do
the
both.
top
I
bar.
mean, it just says
Okay.
calendar and it just goes to this space. And if
Yeah,
somebody
yes.
was cruising, they would find them in the resources.
Okay.
Yeah,
See, average person, me, would make sense.
when you live in this world, that makes
Wait a minute,
sense.
you're the
to you.
queen of
I know
age.
that.
It's
You're
the
a
way it's
legend,
always been,
remember?
since before I even came on board.
And
So
I
we can
think that's why we
create a
keep
little
getting these calls of,
Mhm.
I can't find when the airport meeting is, or when the tourism meeting is, or when.
Well,
So-
like, that's always been their purview, not
Right.
this calendar.
So, and to that end, I think it's incumbent upon the entities. I don't think Dorothy or anyone else ought to track down all these people and say, what do you want on the calendar? If you want it on the calendar, we need to have a process for them to notify us.
Mhm.
Would Dorothy have access then to add stuff to that calendar?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't add anything to the calendar.
Okay,
We just provide the platform.
gotcha.
So.
So that
That's-
brings up
You
another
just
question.
receipt the money.
Yeah, he uses the money.
This is zero multiplied by zero.
Yes.
It's, lots of zeros.
Yeah, I really like the buttons at the top. That's
Okay.
pretty user friendly to the average person, I think. Just click on it.
Let's ask Miss Average. Just,
I think so.
Okay.
I really haven't. I can see it, but no.
okay.
We did send you a link.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, but you're right, because when people come in, the first thing they're gonna see is this stuff at the top. I mean, because that's where you go,
Mhm.
and it's, you got it color coded,
Coded.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And so that's what you see.
Right.
And yeah, so
I would guess there's a lot of people that wouldn't even see that, let alone know what.
know what it
It's
is.
called a
Well, it's
pancake.
it's pretty ubiquitous now. It's how a lot of us.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Absolutely. I'm not discounting that. I see it all.
But you're not average. Vern.
But you're not average. There you go.
Okay.
But you're used to computers and that. type
Exactly.
of stuff.
That's what.
And so,
That's
yeah,
what
so
we're
you
saying.
come in, people are gonna see that.
Yeah.
They're gonna, and if they can't find something, they may go, well, let me click that and see, but they're gonna see that right away.
Yeah.
And I hate to be a royal pain here.
You gotta go.
I have a 10 o'clock
Oh,
Zoom
I can-
meeting
I
that
can-
I have to do,
Can you-
and I want to, I have to have you guys sign some stuff.
Switch.
Sorry
You're
about
not
that.
done, are you?
Before he gets done,
That's right.
I have one question. If you wouldn't mind, Miss Average, I gotta ask
No,
Mr.
no, that's okay.
Yes, sir.
handheld iPhone website interface with this?
We're working on,
Because the other one did.
we're working on making it user-friendly across the platforms.
Okay,
iPhones versus Androids require completely different
I know.
formatting, and iPads require completely different formatting. This is really made for a computer right now. So we're working on the interface
I
for
guess.
the.
So maybe there needs to
yeah.
be a notice somewhere that says this is not phone compatible or something, because there's a lot of people that don't have a computer and they use their iPhones or not, I call it an iPhone, it's a handheld phone.
Android translates pretty well.
Okay.
We've been testing it with Android pretty well. It's the iPhone and the iPads that are a little bit
Some people can't afford a computer, they want to, because they spent all their money on a stupid iPhone.
on a phone.
Do you have a few minutes?
Me? I
If
can
we
come
went
back.
ahead
I
and-
can wait. Yes. of
If we
course.
swapped you out,
Yeah.
I think we need.
That was the
to
last
do a little
question
bit
I
more
had.
about
You need
this.
more, and
And
I got
this
it.
way we can get Laura in and out, so.
In the event I forget, I want to ask you about the
I love
IP address too.
Okay.
Is it going to be the same? or-
It will be.
I'm glad we got you on a timeline.
Well, yes.
You only
and
have
see-
8 minutes to make it
I
snappy.
know, and see, that's my issue, because the state, none of its wisdom here. I sent you guys, I sent it to Dorothy and
We got it.
okay, so, yes. So, what
That's
they,
what you really want. right?
no, well, I want more,
Oh.
because just now, I got an email that added another one. Because these MOUs, there used to be one MOU for the daycare, the childcare, and it was combined with the Colorado Works. They have moved daycare out underneath the whatever that's called for right now. Well, it was under the Colorado Department of Human Services, and they moved childcare out of that into the Colorado Department of Early Childhood. And because of that, we now have two separate MOUs. They sent this one on Monday. They sent this one, I'm not kidding, I just pulled it off. When Dorothy came down to get me, I was making copies.
Was it signable?
Well, it's signable now. I mean, right here. I brought it. I thought I have one for each of you, though, if you want to read them. And let me make sure I'm not giving you
Give us a
the,
copy.
yeah. There,
We read every page of every.
I
document
know.
out of your
Especially
office.
from you.
especially from me. And then I had the one I want Kevin to sign is this one for the first one, and then I have this one for the second one, just because.
So you don't want me to sign this?
No, you can, I don't, if you want to sign that one, you can, or I've got this one, it doesn't
They're all
matter.
printed on the same printer.
Yeah.
I
Some,
got that one and then
yeah, this one is not double-sided. These are double-sided. I don't know if it makes a difference or not.
Now, I would move that we sign the MOU with Department of Human Services, which is really our child. Would they move into this?
They moved the childcare program.
Childcare.
that's the CDEC. Charles is under CDEC. That's the first one we had.
Yeah, I was doing the last one, but that's
Okay.
fine. Only because I just got it.
So I don't think this one has child care on it.
No, that one, the one you just got does not.
Okay.
The one before does.
Okay. This is from Michelle Barnes. Right?
The
Okay.
first one or second
Go to
one.
the very last page, says executive director, that's where Kevin signed from.
Which one are you on?
On the one you just are talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is the
So I
last one.
had dinner with Michelle Barnes last week.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I said they were singing your high praises, your holiness, on how great Laura's doing down here. And she had
Really?
her aide was the one that came up and made sure that
Oh.
you knew that Custer County's doing a great job, and Laura Lockhart was at the tip of their tongue.
Oh,
Seriously.
boy,
So-
now that's a scary thing.
It
I'm
is
telling you
scary.
right
And
now,
but
I'm
I
like,
did, she sat right there.
okay, well, thank you.
and,
Okay.
got tired of hearing about you for
Oh, okay.
15 minutes.
Okay. Well, that is something.
So do you have a motion for me?
I do. It would be to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Department of Early Childhood.
So that would be the
The first one,
the first one that we had.
first one.
When she emailed us,
Yes.
The one that we were emailed.
handwritten.
Oh, I got it.
I would second that. Any discussion on that MOU? And from you, sir?
No, I don't think you, to be honest with you, I didn't read every word of it, but
Well, I could just tell you that they took the language that was in there and kind of changed it around to fit for the child care program and different regs that come from early childhood. Yeah, it's fine.
severability,
Yes,
discretionary matters, third.
Yes.
I didn't.
stuff
but I
that,
did read the.
stuff from the Colorado Department of Early Childhood was added since it was never in
Right.
there. And so it's, yeah,
Those in favor of signing the MOU with the
Department of Early Child.
CD, the CDEC, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sign that copy that you have for me.
let's do the back of it. There you go.
You need to act on what she just gave us, correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
And that one, they took stuff about childcare out of it.
Mhm.
So that's what they did with that one.
So I move we accept the MOU dated the first day of July 2022 under MOU.
Thank you, sir.
With Department of Human Services. Let's see what she called herself. Yeah. Colorado State Department of Human Services.
And you're gonna fill this one in as well.
I will, yeah.
I didn't see the date.
Back of it is
Yeah, since I'm the county and I was printing.
It's in
it
the-
up and
it's in the
Dorothy-
type bit there. You got it.
I will. I will.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to accept the MOU between Custer County and CDHS. Any dis-
You wanted to sign the back. Is that-
No, I
the
didn't.
Signature block.
I see anybody's hand up. I heard some.
No.
Okay, those in favor of the MOU between Custer County and the CDHS signify by saying aye.
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 I'm sorry I had to push these through, but they want them back by the 30th and the 25th. So this is gonna be the only time I was gonna see you guys. So I'm like, I gotta get you guys to sign it.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Thank you. Okay.
Yes,
Yes. Motion carried.
it was a tough battle, but it carried.
There was a lot of fighting going on. They pulled it off. All right.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
got
you get that.
1 minute left. You gonna waste it?
No, I mean, my reports there, and I got to get on a call with the Medicaid people. Because, you know, since I'm doing such a great job up
You
there
gotta
with,
keep your.
well,
your
we're doing this.
reputation.
Well,
clean.
we're doing this improvement plan that we have to do. And the people I'm working with are going, you're so knowledgeable about this stuff because you just know all your cases off the top of your head. This is marvelous. So I'm kind of using you as a little.
See, I was right.
Yeah, so we're gonna meet with you a little bit longer. So I've been meeting with them every Wednesday for 45 minutes.
Those who play must pay.
Something.
Thank you.
These are really cute. Where'd you get them?
Dorothy, oh, you got, I thought Dorothy got.
They're really cute.
So,
My home.
I did not buy them. I was
They're right
trying to
there in my,
claim credit.
right there in my face, and I'm like,
Dorothy did it.
these things are super cute. Where'd you get those, Dorothy?
Hobby Lobby.
Oh. Those are off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Later.
And you can give, you'll get those to me later.
Yeah.
That's okay. The 30th. Thank you.
We have somebody that's not muted.
Sorry.
Adrian? You're not muted, sir?
Is he coming in or is he doing?
There, fix you. You just got completely out.
There you go. Sorry about that. Thank you.
No, of course.
There he is.
So there he is right there.
Walking and listening, were you?
I was. So the IP address will not change.
The URL, no.
Or the
it will not.
URL.
That will be the same, yeah.
I got $5 if you can define URL real quick. Real quick.
You know, that
Real
is
quick.
one that I don't know the exact
How
wording.
about
for.
IP?
IP is individual
I think it's
processor.
Internet protocol.
Internet protocol.
URL, I believe, is
Universal real listing.
Universal resource locator.
yes, sir. There you go.
He's our IT guy.
I
Yeah, he
know,
was
I've been
thinking.
I was just about to say it.
I've been working with you.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
See, websites don't, computers and server systems don't recognize names. They recognize,
Bunch of digits.
yeah, a bunch of numbers. And so there's DSL translators that basically say, or excuse me, DSN translators, excuse me, that basically decode the numbers and turn them into Amazon.com, CusterCounty.gov, that type of thing. So Uniform Resource Locator.
Universal.
Universal, thank you.
So we were in the process of looking at that website, not that we need to digest it necessarily. I don't think that was your intent, but you're gonna completely take the current one down when you bring this other one up.
Yeah, we'll just transfer the,
When do you want to do it? You ready?
whenever you're ready.
Ready to do it.
Okay, we'll do it by the end of this week.
Up to
You know-
consensus, I would think.
I've been clicking around on it and playing with it while we're talking,
Uh-huh.
and it seems pretty easy to me. I like the way your little arrows spin when
Okay.
you go scroll over.
Means it
That's
listened
kinda
instead
cool.
of just sitting there.
Gotcha.
But I appreciate even like the road conditions, because I use Co-Trip
Understood.
a lot of times as well, and it's nice to have that there. So that is a nice addition. I don't think we had that before.
It was there somewhere.
Okay.
Probably,
That's the
probably,
problem.
probably
Nobody can find it.
resources.
So
It's over here and it's in
But-
human resources.
I think like. we
Not human
spoke-
resources, but regular resources.
Like we spoke before, if we might be able to add a tab.
Okay, direct link to the calendar.
Yeah, I think so. And then, because there's a couple of the others, I think agendas up here, plus it's down below. on the
We want to
side
make certain that
anyway.
those are readily accessible.
Only other suggestion I'd have, Vernon, this doesn't have to be done right away. Talk to the airport guys, because
Uh-huh.
you can tie in the visual AWAS weather.
I'm gonna have to get the link for that. I haven't been involved with that. We have the weather camera out there already.
Anybody can
but-
call the phone number and get that weather report, and you also have the visibility 360 degrees, and you see
Mhm.
the weather and that. And that
Nice.
might be interesting for
Okay.
people to see and with an airport contact and all that, but rather than just aviators doing it, it's the
Understood.
reason that it's there is to report the weather in it,
Mhm.
both all the air transportation and surface too.
Understood.
Takes advantage of that.
Understood.
CDOT does.
Is there a link on the airport page for that?
That's why I'm saying it should be.
Yeah. And we have a new airport. page
Right,
too,
so you get them, you understand it and then figure out where you'd want to put the weather.
Okay.
Like he said, it's nice to have that.
But now there's no link for the airport on this page,
On the current page?
on the one that we're getting ready.
Departments,
Are they under departments?
I'll have to take a look. We
Yeah, I don't see it on here.
We rebuilt, maybe we rebuilt it and we haven't imported it yet, so I'll check.
Yeah, it's not on here. yet.
Silver West Airport is under resources.
It's under,
Okay.
oh,
I
yeah.
think that's
so-
where they were on that website too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you another two. Would like,
Why is that resource? Makes sense.
so
It's not
Mhm.
in your vernacular, what would you call one of these? Just departments, or what do you call that bar right there?
Just I would call it a bar
Okay,
or a link,
so, yeah.
page link.
For what?
We'd like to
Just
get a
the
link up
list of the menu options.
for Custer County recycles.
Okay.
We don't have anything to put in it yet, but
We've traditionally had that under landfill.
Yeah.
And you want that broken out? Okay.
we
Alright.
agreed that landfill and recycle is two different entities
Okay.
altogether.
All right, we will do that.
Then we'll funnel that information to you as we get it put together.
All right, we'll do.
I'll send you an email about it though.
Okay.
Like, it seems easy to operate.
Okay.
I haven't tried it on my phone. It's an Android, so it ought to do all right. But I understand that when you go to use your phone, the screen and the page sizes are always different and
We're experimenting with different sizes and whatnot so that we can make sure it works right. So when we go live, the phone will be live too.
And the link to extensions just to CSU's Custer County extension.
They took over the website, their part of the website, I want to say 2 years ago. So that's the link that they've given us.
Looks good.
Lot better, nice color.
Okay,
You're gonna change colors periodically.
yeah, for different seasons.
Homepage picture
Mhm.
change.
Yes, indeed.
You can put, do you like this picture? Like, click
No,
on it.
no.
And you funded this.
You get the public feedback.
So you funded this out of your budget?
We just did it out of our budget.
'Cause
You gave us a little bit of money in our budget for this, and we didn't get the ARPA funds for this, so we just went with that.
How much money changed over roughly?
Not a huge amount. I don't recall how much was budgeted, but probably about 30 hours.
So did we budget enough money for a new website in your budget or no?
So the website didn't really cost us anything. You authorized a payment for some additional pictures and interviews and
So we didn't
whatnot.
have to pay for this hosting platform.
No,
It's
we were already
paid.
using
It's
Wix.
already the same.
Yep.
platform.
So they don't, as long as we don't have multiple websites, they're not charging us extra.
Yeah, well, we'll see how.
It's like they're charging us for an advertisement to go use their web builder.
Well, that's
No, that's
the
just
banner link because
This is
it's
still in the
not
building
live.
stage. right?
Yes, sir. I gave you the direct link to our,
Oh,
um,
okay. You don't want to touch that.
yeah, don't play with that. That's,
Well, as much as it.
no, we
may-
don't need to spend any more money.
May be an aggravation, we'll see how the county responds to this website, because I think we forget that's what it's here for.
And if people don't like it, we can go back.
Yeah, if
Or-
we keep having issues on something.
Yeah. And every website is a little bit different. Like I said, we looked at revised government websites, Civic Plus, and tried to mirror some of their characteristics. Some of their stuff is proprietary and it's expensive. So we were able to do a certain amount with the Wix platform. Revise, I believe, starts at $6,000. Civic Plus is 10, I believe. So they are, I mean, there's a reason why web page designers get paid big bucks.
back to your
So,
point,
mhm.
you're gonna, when you put it on, there's always something, you're gonna get comments, which is not bad. Microsoft debugs their programs with the public because they troubleshoot it.
Thank you, Microsoft.
That's what they do.
Yes, indeed.
And they update, that's why you're always getting these updates. So there's no reason why, as we go along and you're taking track of the things,
Of course.
that maybe you'll want to suggest
Mhm.
adding to it.
Like the calendar button.
Yeah.
Okay,
Take the public's input.
absolutely.
Don't take it as a complaint.
When you got ready to change pictures,
Uh-huh.
I mean, the hike up the hill, you know,
Uh-huh.
with the camera, you know.
Indeed.
You take a picture of West.
You know, if we just get that drone, we can just fly right there and take beautiful pictures.
I was thinking of a workout for you guys.
Oh,
You guys-
absolutely.
You guys could hike up to another lake and take that picture.
Uh-huh,
and come down and
exactly.
put it on the website.
Showcase all of the lakes and the hikes in Custer County.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we want you to do it.
Okay, all right, I'll get that. I'm gonna take Fridays now.
Oh, wait a minute, it's not part of the job.
Oh, okay.
So from my standpoint, community input would be important and considered if they can't find something. And that's been the big issue that I hear. Well, I can't find that.
Okay.
I don't live on this website every day, you know, so it's hard for me to say, well, you just do this and this. But
Understood.
if we don't hear a lot of comments moving forward, then we've hit the mark, the way I look at it.
Let's see here, how come it looks like on this, well, maybe it's because it's not blowing up. These buttons are hidden here, but that's just part of your bar.
Well, again, this is still his construction
So
platform.
I get
Yeah,
that.
it
You
does.
see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Mine was that way. earlier.
If you shrink it a little bit, Control minus, you'll
Control minus, where's the minus here? That's weird. Thanks for that. Yeah. okay.
well, resizing websites.
You know,
It's impossible to tune a website to every single
No, that's
modality.
right.
So you have to be able to expand and contract and do it
Good.
differently.
So I'm assuming my agenda button works, but my fire band doesn't. and I'm
Because there's
assuming
no
that's in
fire band.
Construction.
Mhm.
Oh,
We'll go directly to, for instance, the list of all of stages of fire bans and all the requirements.
when you click on that info
Right, yeah.
button. Okay. And then if there is a fire ban.
Yep.
We are currently in
It'll show the-
stage one. or
exactly.
whatever.
Like on the new webpage, we put up a button immediately saying no fire ban restrictions. So after our meeting
On your
yesterday,
existing.
yeah,
So like if we do go onto a fire ban, say on this site, will it only be under the tab for fire ban, or will we also be able to put say a banner on the homepage itself that sates we're under a stage 1 or stage 2 fire ban?
we can do banners if you like. I was trying to keep it clean. Part of the feedback from the last. What's that?
Maybe stick it down in there or something. If we're
We
in,
could do that.
you know, true, if we're in a stage 4 fire ban, man, we need to get that word out.
Yeah,
Make it more
absolutely.
probably than anything else on this
Mhm.
website, but
Right.
it's not difficult to add
A banner, no.
Mr. Chairman, may I? Sorry, we're kind of free-forming it here.
Go ahead.
So we'll use recycles for an example. If Custer County Recycle wants to hold a virtual meeting,
Mhm.
what do they need to do? Contact you? They can't just click on this Zoom link and
Not if they want to schedule
they
something.
can't fire that up themselves. They have to go through your office.
No, they would communicate with us. We would schedule the meeting and then they just
And then they can
click
click
it.
on that.
Right.
Zoom link. What do you have two
Unless-
meetings on the same day?
Well,
Different
that's
link?
we have one account, which we pay, good amount of money for, because it allows us to go for any length of time with any number of visitors. Free accounts are a specific length of time and certain number of visitors. So if we need to have something that's bigger, for instance, let's say landfill or extension office or something like that, we'd have to explore another account or a different platform.
But we had two meetings on the same day at the same time.
Mhm.
Can't use this link, Zoom link, the Zoom.
The Zoom link that we've installed on the website is the specific ID for the, like, for instance, this meeting right here. We never change it. It's always the same on the skit, or excuse me, on the agenda, so that people know exactly where to go every time. So you can have a private meeting. Excuse me, you can have a private meeting that you send out specific link ID to with password, and that would facilitate, let's say, a private meeting for OEM or something like that. But we don't have the capability of running multiple meetings on the same link.
Okay.
So we can do rooms. There's the room option, but then that means that IT is sitting there the whole time moderating the whole meeting.
Got it.
So
Okay.
it kind of,
There's
so
a
if we want to
limitation
have
it.
multiple, rooms, or excuse me, multiple meetings at the same time, we'd have to have another account.
Thank you.
Anything else, gentlemen?
Nope, I'm happy for the first time with you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad. I'm very glad.
All right.
Remember, we were all happy with the new website before. So
You had a nice picture that never changed.
we changed it.
Well, finally.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah, well, my point is, if people can't find stuff on there, then that's an issue. Whether
sir.
they like the picture or not is of no concern to me, or the colors, or it's an information place. And if they're struggling, the public's struggling to find it, I think that's legit.
Well, you managed to get us right on to OEM's time.
Okay, well, then my work here is done. I have influence to the positive, and it's a good place to
There
be.
you go.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
I believe since we are 1 minute over, I'm gonna go ahead and give us a short recess since we didn't get it. Vernon walked in right when I
Yeah, we were
ready to take a calling it the break and last time, so.
Appreciate Doesn't mean they'll
Comply.
comply, but
Okay, the time is now 10:23 a.m. on 6/8/22. I will reconvene this meeting of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. And OEM, Mr. Adrian, you are up.
hello, sir. How are you? Good to see you today.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Bill.
You too.
And so you have my report. I think it's pretty straightforward. I'll give you an opportunity to look over that, and if you ask a question, just refer to the date, and then I'll be in the same place that you are in. So I'll give you a moment to look over that. It was probably one of the most, May was a difficult month. We just had a lot of activity going on, a lot of learning that was going on. Some problems were highlighted in the South region for emergency management, how we handle grants and things like that. So that was a really frustrating, mid-month was frustrating.
So can you go back to the first page?
Yes, sir.
Third line,
May 3rd.
no, third line on the first page.
Okay, go ahead. Mhm.
So state EOC 80 genome alone, I'm assuming that means 80 hours
80 hours.
and
Reimbursable.
through your grant.
It's reimbursable through the EMPG grant, but because of the uniqueness of this assignment, that she was primarily working in the state EOC, the state and I are in negotiations as to whether we will build this through our EMPG grant program or whether the state will just pay her directly. And so we're leaning because of the complications of overtime. That you work a certain number of hours in the state, beyond those hours, you're entitled to pay overtime. And because she's a contract employee with the county, which there is no overtime entitled under a contract employee, we have to make it work. And so the state is looking at paying her directly in that relationship in the EOC, and then we don't have to worry about it. So we just need some more understanding of how that is going to work.
So generally speaking, in respect to your budget, we have one employee.
We have one employee and a contractual employee.
Through your budget
Yes.
for this year?
Yes, in our budget, we have $10,000 designated for contractual employees, and we have, whatever the remainder designated for the OEM. So we did assign 10,000 for a contractual employee, and then, and it depends. Some months she may work more, some months she may not work at all. In the winter months, there's not much need, but in the summer months, her time is precious. And that is compensated, reimbursable for the state. So we budget 10,000. She gets reimbursed the same rate I get reimbursed at 50%. Okay. Gentlemen, any other questions? Anything jump out? No. So we'll point you to the incident in Teller County on May 12th. It's a 1,400 acre. It may have grown, they always grown, but at the time that I looked at it, it was a 1,400 acre fire. Do you want to guess as to what the cost of suppression to Teller County was for that?
Where was it? Sorry.
$4.2 million is what.
May 12th.
Yeah, the May 12th incident, the High Park fire in Teller County.
South region of hazard.
Yeah, and so the cost of that incident was $4.2 million. And before the state came in, the county had to have a financial audit to see what their expenditures were on that particular incident. And you recall at the same time that incident, we were under red flag warnings. I think there was actually 21 days in May, which is a record, that we were under red flag warnings. But then you see in the report how the weather's changed. We went from 90-mile-an-hour winds at the start of the month to 24 inches of snow at
at the end of the month, and we've gone into a totally different pattern that wasn't really forecast. We've gone into a more, what we call it, monsoon weather
Monsoon.
pattern, which is more traditional. We could not see the mountains this morning
That's right. Nice.
because of the rain
Actually
that
rained.
they were receiving.
So just since you flagged the 12th, it was set up for training. How did it go?
I think
You talked about it. but
Kevin was
Kevin was
there.
there and Tom
Tom,
was
you
there.
were there a little bit.
They
I
both
thought
were.
the
I
training-
missed it because I was on a trip.
Yeah, I thought the training went excellently. I think it's
The
complicated.
result was good.
I think the result was excellent. I think it's complicated. There's a lot of information to learn. I would encourage, when the opportunity presents itself.
So you got lessons learned from it.
I think there's a lot learned. There's a lot of work left
That
to
we
do.
would you would change procedures or something.
No, I would not change the way we put on the training. What did you gentlemen think? Was it?
Well, I didn't stay very long. It was,
But if it wasn't training, Butch, if it was the actual event, you think there's some lessons learned that the team there participating got out of it?
I would say that they learned a lot.
Okay.
And that we're behind the 8 ball, but we'll get caught up.
Okay.
In terms of being prepared. I think the CES meetings that we have started again will go a long ways toward helping out in that area as well. Items.
yeah, I have a date I wanted to clear up with you. tonight. Oh, so I've got HMP revision meeting at 9 o'clock at Land Hall on June the 13th.
We have not HMP revision. We have not set a date for the
I don't know why I
HMP.
ended up getting that in
revision.
there, but I
That is-
scratched that.
That is one of the things I would like to set though this morning.
Let me see, because I think I had the same thing. Yeah, OEM HMP revision at 9. You must have had that for us at some point.
Yeah.
That date to last staff report.
And we may have.
So what is it now?
Well,
Well, he sent us an email asking to pick a date.
yeah, and so there may have been a conflict, but so I've suggested 3 dates now.
Yeah.
The 29th of,
So we're scratching this one. on the
yes, I
13th.
would scratch
Okay.
the 13th. It was the 13th.
Oh, it was Monday.
Which is good because I'm not available. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I usually don't schedule on the 13th, but
So your date's
13th
on
of-
the 29th of June.
29th of June, the 6th of July, or the 11th of July. And keep in mind that the further we push it back, the further we push back the date for approval.
Well, we're in town on the 6th because we have a commissioner meeting.
Yes, that's why it shows that date.
I'm okay with the 29th. I had a conflict, but it changed.
That is the preferred date,
I'm good with that one.
the 29th, What time are you looking at? From 2 to 4. We would do that at Lang Hall, and then I would need to.
Probably make that, I have a UCOG board meeting starting at 10, so I might be late.
Okay,
I could probably be there.
okay,
So HMP revision.
yes.
Is there a reason to have it at Lang Hall?
It's just a convenient and it's a large place, so we have, it's a public meeting as well. So we invite the team, and so it's a large room where we can have plenty of space to move about. And even though, I guess I'm very conscious about meeting spaces right now because I came down with something a week and a half ago, so I would rather be in a large meeting place, that's very
Do we have to
air.
pay for that?
We pay.
We wouldn't have to at search and rescue.
No, we would not have to search and rescue, but I would have to look at their calendar, and I do have it budgeted to pay for these meetings.
How much is it? $40?
It doesn't cost me much.
Yeah, just the last few times I've been to a meeting down there, there was a ton of room and 12 people in the room, but
Yeah, but I think that
that's
has
not
its.
all bad.
Has a nice
No, no.
kitchen.
I think there's advantages to having that open air space.
So we're at 2 to 1.
From 2 to 4. And it could be, I mean, so usually you get there at 1:30, so we could visit a little bit and then depending on the curriculum, the meetings may run a little bit longer. So I would block out 3 hours, even though the official time is 2 to 4. We will not start before 2, Kevin, is what I'm saying, but we could run longer.
At the very most, I'll be there at 2 and I'll be leaving at 4.
Okay, and let me just give you.
If you're lucky.
Let me just give you a little bit of an agenda. So we're going to discuss local government participation in the work, in the hazard mitigation process. Because it's, again, like pulling teeth sometimes. We're going to go over the mitigation strategy and goals. We're going to talk about the past and the new mitigation actions. We're going to talk about the plan integration in the community. We're going to talk about new mitigation grants and mitigation resources, in-kind tracking, because we need to try to avoid paying. So if we get more involvement, then the cost, the county's cost of the grant goes down. And then we request a lot of action from some of our jurisdictions and cooperators, and we don't always get responses back. So we're going to discuss that at this meeting, what we can do better. And then the timeline is the workshop is the last formal workshop. Then we'll receive all outstanding plan adoptees inputs. Then we're going to publish a draft plan, publish the draft hazard mitigation plan revision. Then we'll give an opportunity for the public and for you to review the draft plan. And then we'll receive that input, and then we'll make up a final plan. You can adopt that plan at that point in time, but typically the plan then will be sent to the state for review. After it's reviewed by the state, it'll be sent to FEMA for review, and then it will go through a local adoption process. And then probably around December is what I'm looking at, we will send the plan back to FEMA for final approval.
This 5-year plan.
This is a 5-year plan, and we're about in the first year of the plan. We started about June of actually the vendor working on the plan. We started about late May or June of last year, so we're almost a year into the plan. So timeline, the draft should be, I hope, completed about mid-July. Be sent out for you to take a look at it. Then about mid-August, we would have a final plan. And if we get a stamp of approval on the final plan in August, we will submit it to the state in September, to the feds in October. And then in November, we will adopt the plan. And that adoption process, the 2 jurisdictions typically would adopt it first. Those 2 jurisdictions would be Silver Cliff and West Cliff. And then we would then adopt the plan and send it back to the state for final approval. And that's the process for that. And then my things to do, I asked a question, do we have a county PIO or any plans for that?
Having a meeting next week to talk about it.
And right now, if you talk to Linda Washington, do you know who she is?
Linda Pollock.
She had volunteered, and we had her set up to be a volunteer. So until we get somebody, and she's working with Reggie, so that if there's something you need to do before we get somebody formally, we can do it.
Okay.
But Reggie had said that
She would
be
do it.
available
That's what she
for us
said.
if we needed her.
Right.
Because I don't think we
We
discussed
didn't
Linda
decide
Pollock
anything
at all.
Yeah, we did.
No.
I sent the note out. You all agreed.
I do not
I'm
recall
fairly
that.
certain, because we asked Vernon to take a look and, give her access to the
We
website.
didn't.
Well, that,
I did
You
not.
might
see
I
that.
sent the note out.
Well, Miss Pollock is officially not the county.
No, she's not the PIO. It's not, she's not being paid. She was volunteered
As a
to,
PIO for emergency.
That's
I
right.
knew she offered to volunteer to
That's
do
right.
that. That was the last of
Right.
my
I
recollection.
saw her email volunteering, but that was as far as it went.
and that's, maybe that's when the emails are going into the hole then, because.
That's possible because
Anyway,
I saw
that's-
hers.
So the point is, we can do that. It's up to if she's gonna work with Reggie or not, and there's some
So
thing to do that, and Reggie can't. So she's there to volunteer. So doesn't matter.
My opinion would be because Reggie has been doing the job and
Let her
she
do it.
volunteered her services, if we needed to have her to continue with that.
That was where it
And,
is. It was when Reggie
You know, I
couldn't do it.
understand you've used her before for some of your own stuff, but I believe that we have not discussed having her as our county PIO interim or anything of that nature.
No,
So
it was
I-
never meant to be an
I
interim.
am not going that route.
And so,
So we'll have that discussion next week.
but she is still the OEM PIO. So
Who?
I have Miss Pollock. So I
Oh.
use her in OEM and she's a volunteer.
Well,
And
when
that
we
was
get
what-
a
that was
PIO,
what-
But even if you have a PIO, it doesn't change.
It might. We
In
don't need two PIOs, volunteer or not.
Well, that's,
That's why we hired a
That's
county
right.
PIO. So it's a discussion we need to have.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But one individual in an emergency cannot function as a full-time PO. We
In
need
this size
someone,
of county.
Yeah,
well, it shifts. So you
But-
run a 24-hour shift.
right. You make a good point. We can talk about it, but in the end, there's no reason why if that has to be, that you can't do that after the fact, and we make the decision to add somebody if the emergency is that big.
Yeah, and because you have a county PIO does not mean that you cannot have other people trained to do that
True.
particular
That's
task
right.
in an emergency, and that's
But-
why we have that in OEM.
But it may mean that we decide we're gonna have one PIO in the county. It could be that way. We don't need 5 or 6 PIOs shooting out.
Sure.
I mean,
Gotta be a coordinated
No,
response.
and
period.
it is a coordinated response, so you don't have, there's a coordination between all the PIOs, just like there's coordination between all the
You
ICS.
can't have two
positions.
releases going out that are
No,
conflicting.
you would never have that. You would only have one.
ideally.
Yeah,
It wouldn't happen very long if that
Yeah, there
was
you go.
missed.
There you go.
And
Would
and
be a
that's what
draft.
managers do, you manage, so that would never happen, it shouldn't happen.
okay.
And then, in terms of budget, are we going to have a mid-year budget review?
When we schedule it.
And as you see in the highlight on the third page, I said we need to adjust the EMPG budget as more funds, 50,000 versus 42,000 will be received under my Department of Homeland Security grant. So we were initially told that I would receive 42,000. What I actually have received is a little more than 50,000 in that budget. So we need to adjust that in the EMPG funding for 2022. And then also, we received additional Homeland Security grant funding for 2022. And we need to understand that typically the 2022 projects are not expended until the start of the federal fiscal year, which happens in October. And so then we become eligible. So that is not as big of a problem, but we also receive an additional monies there that were not
We'll have
programmed.
to do a
into the
budget amendment for that because that was unanticipated revenues.
Right.
And then the next item, we're doing pretty good with our CES meetings. They've been well attended, a lot of good ideas, a lot of exchange, a lot of new people. And so I am going to start our community emergency response team meetings as well, so that we could get more members of the community involved. The groups have changed, working with public health, like the MRC. I think you asked the question about the MRC and how we use them. Well, they used to have about 250 people in the community under MRC. Folks have gotten older. I think Lee mentioned the other day at the CS meeting that of those 250 people, only 70 people are available to actually come in and work in the MRC. So we need to go through a process of rebuilding. And there are a lot of people out in the community that once they get their homes built, they're looking to volunteer. So we just need to reach out to those folks so that we can have a core staff of people working in EOCs should we need to activate. And that's where a lot of the training goes in. The wonderful thing about Gina is now she has completed, all of her FEMA training. She just has ICS 300 and 400 to go up, and she will be fully capable of stepping into, my position. So if I want to take a day off or take a vacation, we would have someone in the county who could be the acting OEM. And instead of having other counties help us out, we could fill that and then also be able to help out other counties. Silver Cliff is the last item. I was notified yesterday that they have gone through the process. So Silver Cliff as a town is joining the National Flood Insurance Program. They've submitted, are in the process of submitting their application to FEMA, and they intend to adopt the local flood plan development ordinance at their July board meeting. So my question is, does the BOCC have any questions related to Silver Cliffs joining, but more specifically to whether Custer County will also participate in a national flood insurance program? And then the state water conservation board has asked if you have any questions, and if you as a board would like to meet again with the Colorado Water Conservation Board to have them address any questions or to discuss more things in detail. I just received a text, and Tom, I think you and I spoke about the newspaper article, and I realized we do not react to a newspaper.
Contact person at CWCB.
Yeah, and so I received this response relative to whether Custer County would need to adopt any kind of a building code or something. And this is just a response because it was placed in a newspaper article 2 weeks ago or last week that we did not have to adopt building codes. And I know there's a lot
That's what they said in their meeting with us.
and so what I received just a few minutes ago is per our National Flood Insurance Program coordinator, Doug Mahan. The only thing required to join the National Flood Insurance Program is the community's resolution of intent, a FEMA application, and the adoption of a floodplain development ordinance that meets the NFIP and state requirements. So adopting building codes is not required, although in our experience, most communities who join already have building codes adopted, and it makes it easier to meet the NFIP and state requirements because there is already a baseline of community safety and development standards. But again,
So
building codes are not required.
my question is what, you have a sample ordinance, because an ordinance is a requirement of law.
In response to that email, I asked them for a sample ordinance, and I believe that we also can look at the ordinance that the town of Silver Cliff is suggesting, because that would be a local ordinance that addresses local conditions. But I think not having building codes is important because that's a major concern by a lot of our constituents in the county. But
It's not so much that either, but it's part of it is, if it's an ordinance, it's a requirement. And then what do we do? How do you enforce it? There's a lot of issues on how do you administer it too. Other than just having it written down, you can go look on a floodplain map and decide where to put your house.
yeah, I don't know the language. I am not a lawyer, and I'm not familiar with ordinances. I'm familiar with enforcing ordinance. And I know there's a great flexibility in the spirit of the law. And
So what, are they
interpretation.
pushing you? Do we need to make a decision? Do we need to have some time to go look and make sure we know what we're doing here? You're gonna be able to get us some data?
Well, I think I can get your data. We have been involved in the process, And as Silver Cliff, I mean, they're in the process of going to the next step to do a more detailed study. We just need to decide whether we want to participate in that more detailed
And I
study
think
or not.
For us to make that decision, we need to see what the state and the federal requirements
Yeah,
are
we sure
on
do.
paper. We talked about them a little at that meeting,
Mhm.
but I didn't get enough information at that meeting to vote.
No, neither did I.
So,
And so then what I would like to suggest then, if I may, because they've asked the question, is I could either meet with you individually and write down your questions and have them that you may have, and then write down those questions. And then I can have them schedule a meeting where we can get back together and you can have a conversation with the experts. We can bring in sample ordinances that you can look at, should you want to move that way.
Well,
Or after that meeting, we decide we don't want anything to do with it at all. But we have to make a decision.
well,
why?
yeah, we don't have to.
We don't have to do anything.
Well, I would recommend that.
That's,
And in
I would
order to make a
recommend.
decision, I'd like to see those state and federal requirements
Right.
Okay, so.
before I talk. to
yeah,
you.
we don't need to talk,
So-
but we don't need another meeting. Just get us the data. that-
Off the top of my head, if I didn't see anything to sway me, I would say no.
Right.
So you
I'd
would
have
like
to
to,
see something very strong.
I want to know the
sway
benefit
me,
of it.
Because otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm
and-
not. I'm not on
so
board
if I may
with this.
capture your question, I want to capture what you said. You would like to see state.
What the state and local or federal requirements are if we're participating, yeah.
Requirements.
Yeah.
And
Okay, what else? Kevin, you were speaking, and before I cut you off, I just wanted to capture his thoughts. So you,
I would like to see exactly what,
Yeah.
what is required and what would be entailed in this ordinance. Because an ordinance can look an awful lot like
it's a law.
very,
It's
a
a
very
law.
It's a law.
restrictive document, and
You have to enforce.
I am not on board with that.
okay,
I want to know the benefits. Why?
Yeah, the benefits and the strain it's gonna put on our citizens.
Well,
That should show up in the requirement.
requirement.
so what are the benefits? And what was your last statement?
I'm just saying, the
Disadvantage.
strain or the responsibility it would put on individual.
What's the ordinance? What does it require? We have to enforce it, and how does a citizen comply?
And keep in mind, and I hear what you're saying, but keep in mind, it is you who sets the ordinance and those
Right,
conditions.
so writing the ordinance,
But per your
Easy to write.
statement a minute ago, we would be putting in the ordinance to meet the requirements
right,
of these other agencies.
right.
Right.
So there are minimum
Yeah, so
And
requirements.
all of a sudden,
on that
we're being
ordinance.
directed. The
Correct.
state's
Okay,
control.
I'm just making notes. I'm
No,
not,
you know, right.
I'm not gonna answer the question. I'm
Back
not
to
the expert.
our dark skies thing, they wanted us to write an ordinance, but it had to meet their requirements.
That's right.
Well, that's okay, if you agree with all their requirements.
What we did is
No,
they voluntarily did the things, and that's fine.
Okay, and it's just a discussion that we need to have, but I would
Yeah.
prefer to have you ask the experts.
So-
And then.
Then you gotta understand it enough to be able to be and talk intelligently to them. So
Right,
what we did on Dark Skies is they wanted us to write a law that made everybody buy the right kind of light bulb and the right kind of fixture and all that in order to get their rating. And instead, we said you voluntarily comply, you can do it. And they did. And if the same thing could happen here, you got a floodplain mapped out, you can present it to the county citizens, and not a code, it's not to enforce it. But you want to put your house there, and in 100 years, you're gonna have it washed down into Luis. That's,
yeah, and I'm not interested in talking to these people until we do see the requirements, that's my
Okay,
opinion.
no,
me too.
and I can do that. So I won't set a meeting, but I need to
Yeah.
ask the questions.
Yeah.
The purpose is to allow persons within the county to purchase national flood insurance.
Right,
And that may not apply to all the people of the county, but not all the people in the county live in a floodplain or a floodplain that would map. So the purpose is to allow folks who are within the floodplain, and the maps will identify that, to purchase
just decide what
insurance.
they want to do.
Having
Well,
said that, they can purchase
thank you.
insurance today,
thank you.
but that insurance is much more costly than it would be
If
than
we
to
were-
purchase it under the National Flood Insurance Program. But that, I mean, that is the goal.
The other thing, this is not a question for your folks, it's a question for the board. How do we get a feel from the community if that's what they want? Now, I've heard 2 squeaky wheels, well, that's, I don't get it for me.
No. And,
So-
and if you think about how insurance works, everybody pays a big premium betting on the insurance company is that you're not gonna use it, and so why do you force a citizen to buy the insurance if they don't want to?
Yeah, we wouldn't force them. It would just, all that would really do, as I understand it, would give them the opportunity to buy this insurance at a discounted rate from the
That's the problem.
retail broker.
In order to get a discounted rate, you gotta participate, right?
Right.
And that's,
We have to, as a county.
that's the
participate.
problem. What does that mean? Force them to, what if nobody signs up?
Doesn't matter.
They
just
penalize
have the
us for
right.
nobody
No, I
paying
don't
for it.
think
Yeah,
so.
they have the right.
Yeah.
They do. We
There's no
don't force
quota.
anyone to do anything.
Right,
There's
no
no
quota, said you
quota.
gotta have 10% of yours.
They kind of hedged when they talked to us about that.
But
That same
if we look at the
question.
requirements, that should spell that out. I would think, but I'm with you. If we're gonna force people to do it, yeah. I just-
No, I don't think you can force any one person's flood insurance that makes it
Okay,
available.
good.
But part of those requirements could actually hinder people
From getting other
developing,
insurance.
From even building on their own property.
Right.
But having said that, and understanding what you just said, we also have to understand that private parties may not be able to get home loans or construction loans if
They don't have insurance.
they don't have insurance. And there
So
are,
they don't buy.
The $1 million question is, how far is government reach gonna go? That's what it really boils down to. Do we have a responsibility to give our citizens the opportunity to buy cheaper insurance?
So
Okay,
yeah, so I mean, that's where we are, but it's that, we can keep kicking the can down the road, but they're at a point where we have to make a decision.
we don't.
well,
have
we
to,
don't have
Rich.
to make a
It's,
decision.
we're at a point where they would like us to make a decision and that they
If we
apparently
would
are
like to
pressuring you.
participate, they would like a decision.
I'm going to stay neutral. Jim.
Well, are they pressuring you? or
Well, you're not neutral if you
No
tell us
one-
we have to make a decision.
No one pressures me.
Yeah.
It is my recommendation.
Okay.
That's all.
different.
As the
Okay.
agency responsible for this, it's my recommendation that we stop kicking the
Okay.
can down the road and that we get
That's a
the
better way to say it.
information that we need to be able to make an informed decision. There's a lot of questions. I can't ask all your questions, but I want to move on.
Yeah, and you have a good point about that. Sometimes when I hear you have to make a decision, I automatically think you have to make the decision to do this. We might make a decision not to do it. That's a decision.
Absolutely. That
And
is a
that's-
decision.
That's moving on,
That
whether
is
we do
moving
it
on.
or don't do it. And I get that, that gets lost with me sometimes.
Yeah.
People say, well, you need to make a decision about this. Okay, we decide no.
And sort of
We decide yes.
and what I got out of that meeting with them is we sort of did, we said, sounds interesting. We never made a commitment.
No, you didn't commit, but you did not commit either. But I think the key question, you raised another key question, Tom. You said, how do we get a feel from the committee?
Right.
And that's an interesting question. How do we,
Well, we'd have to. have
We gotta
some
get the
public hearings,
information and
get
have a
6
hearing.
People there and
and
we
which
have a
six,
public hearing.
and then which 6 people come?
Exactly.
You better have.
That's
a
why it
balance.
has to be, if you're gonna do that, then you would have to make sure that it's well advertised.
Absolutely.
There's the flood insurance, national blah, blah, whatever.
Because we may be reacting.
I
And,
won't react to 6 people, but
but you know what I'm saying.
yes, I sure do.
And
You
we're
gotta give them
human.
opportunity not to be there and then it's their problem.
So that you have given me some direction, so I can report back to them, get you the information that you need. And then if you would like to have a meeting, then we can schedule that.
Sounds good.
But I will let the experts do that. So let me just go over my notes. That pretty much concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Have a good day.
I'll do my best. I'll drink. No. I'm cold for a drink. That was a Coke. You guys take care.
Bye.
See ya.
I'm gonna try something weird. One of my leadership training classes was on social interaction.
About Fridays.
So one of their big points of the whole class was to shake somebody's hand, and look them in the eye. you have a toast, you look that person in the
That's
eye,
right.
which is very difficult for me to do. I want to look at the glass so I don't
Don't
crash.
crash it
somebody.
into them.
And Brad Johnson, who died last year of COVID or this year of COVID, he was huge on that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't toast you if you weren't looking him in the eye. Family reunion, whatever it was. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning,
Again.
again, and again.
Any unfinished business?
No, sir.
Negative.
New business, we have one item on the agenda. Consideration of signing the SDCEA service agreement for Custer County Recycling.
Okay, so we snuck in just at the 11th hour here. I was talking with Mike this morning, Friday, and on Sunday, or early Monday, I should say. Anyway, what we have here, I sent the letter that I just got and the service agreement, the new service agreement, and let me walk you through this.
Did it change?
Yes, and to the better, because the way it was set up was very
You said you
expensive.
sent that?
You should have it.
He called me after he talked to you. He verified that it was a small business.
That's right. Okay, if you got it,
I have 4 attachments.
That's right.
Rate schedule 2, number 8, number
Right.
3.
so the new service agreement is the last thing that was attached. Not going to get into that right now. It's a complete agreement. It's not any, what he wants to do is have it delivered here and the original and have it signed. And so what we'll do today, my recommendation is to agree to this agreement or not, or modify it. What he's got is a schedule rate 2, a schedule rate 8, and a schedule rate 3. So the top paragraph in his email to us, all it does is restate what we got before. And that was an agreement that had a power schedule 3 agreement. It had a service charge of $146 a month plus an energy charge, and then the demand charge on top of that. So if you were a big outfit, big commercial business, then you're looking at a maximum load of 50 kVA or more. And so that would have been probably the right thing to do if you're only working at part-time. So he says, that said, the second paragraph, he says the new service agreement would fall under a small commercial rate, because that's what we are, as a small commercial business, basically. Rate schedule 2 is the general service non-residential agreement. And it says under that rate, there are 2 charges. And I'm familiar with this because we had one for our sawmill and we had one for the house. So you have a separate agreement with separate meter, service availability charge of $62 a month flat charge, and the energy service rate charge of 0.1313. So he's run a couple. I asked him to give us some examples and giving our operating hours and an 8-hour day, and it can be 8 to 4 or whatever, but an 8-hour day, 5 days a week, some of the LED lighting and some other things in there. The monthly bill for a full day would be probably $390 a month. And in the wintertime with a larger, and it would depend on the consumption rates, the large power rate wouldn't, your bill would be more than $800 if it were made with that other agreement, if it were a large power rate. So then I asked him hypothetically, tell us if we wanted to, right now that building has got no heat in it. And if we wanted to add heat into it for a winter operation, knock the chill down for 2 months, then what would that do to the bill? And he said it would probably make it go from $390 up $150 up to $550 a month if we wanted to do that. So the beauty of it is what they've already set in place. This is according to Alice, the transformer engineer. The service that we have set there already is good for 75 kVA capacity with 3-phase that allows, if we want to, future growth, we can add other things into that building, like the heaters and some other things, which as an example, you could add the total building load up to 75 kVA if we wanted to for some other power use out there. And then we would be eligible for the bigger rate. So anyway, what he then recommended to keep the cost low, he's attached the Schedule rate 2 to that service agreement. And if you want to click on that agreement, it shows everything in that agreement that needs to be filled out. Not off of this, but the initial letter gives us the same charge to put it in at 93.75.22 to set up the service. And then he points out when we get the agreement that he wants to deliver here, it will be as it's pointed out here in the places that we add in what we want it to be. Clear down to the bottom, and it talks about the 93.75.22. If you keep scrolling on down, it tells where the business name needs to be, and then attested and certified by Kelly, Notary Public. So this was and given that he believes, and we ran some scenarios, given that it's not going to be operating unless Joni gets really busy out there, 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. And so it's going to be the actual charge will be quite a bit less than $390 a month. He thinks about half that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Question that I don't know that you have an answer to.
You can ask him.
They are considering us now small business
Mhm.
if we stay under 50 kilowatts, or KVA, correct?
That's 75.
So if we temporarily say we have a heavy month or something is drawing lots of power and we temporarily go over, are we still charged that lower rate for that usage, or?
Yes, here's why, because it's based on the full month. In addition, he took a look at the specs on that machine. He went in detail on what that load really is. And if you used it full time, you'll never exceed it. On full time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And so that's what that's based on. It would never hit it, Kevin. I can't imagine unless you went 24 hours a day over a month, it might.
Or if you operated after 5 PM, because that's when their peak starts.
That's right. And the likelihood of that, that's why he asked what our operating hours are. And this is the ideal time is, 8 to 4.
I have another question here, scrolling down through here, because it is, this agreement is between Sangre de Cristo Electric and Custer County Landfill.
Oh, yeah, I pointed that out to him. It's not, that's why he has a mark. We put in, it's going to be a clean sheet. We're going to bring it in here. We're going to write in, fill it in, and then, and it will be, and I asked, did he get the name from you?
I don't remember if he said Custer County Recycles.
Yeah, whatever we want on there is just, that's why it's a separate entity. It'll be billed separately. It'll be not mixed in with the power and trying to figure out how much power that drained off a single meter.
Right.
And that was
Yeah, I would think the agreement needs to be with Custer County Recycles.
that's right. And I pointed that out to him. So I don't know. That's why I asked the other day, what's the corporation called, or what do we call the entity? It's a separate Custer County entity operating under Custer County. It's not the landfill.
Right.
And he knows that.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's obviously a big difference between rate schedule 3
Mhm.
And rate schedule
2 and rate schedule 8.
Originally, that original agreement was for large power time of day use. So we're looking at 5 cents kilowatt hour versus 13.
He said it was would have been a huge mistake to do.
But the energy availability charge is half. And it's I know they talk about small. It's non-residential.
You call it a
They
small
call it small
commercial
business,
business, but
yeah.
you said small business. I still have that 2 meters at the house.
Availability on both meters.
Yeah, meters, but it's a small charge. $60 a month or something.
47, I think. Yeah, so we save money on the availability charge, we pay more money on the electric charge.
And we have room to expand up to that and still keep it down. We can add a heater if Joni gets really
Yeah.
ambitious.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of
Lots of room.
KVH out there.
He was talking about some kind of
Radiant heater.
heater installed in a fan. And that he was pushing something
Yeah.
that I could get more information for. And I said, we're not ready for that.
No, I asked him to give us options so we
Oh,
understand the
okay.
big picture. That's why he was asking questions.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't pushing anything. He just told me that I said, in order to understand that capacity, give us some examples so
Oh.
we get a big picture feel for it.
Well, he didn't hear me, but I should apologize.
No, you don't need to.
Yeah, I don't think in that building we can ever consume more energy than they could supply us.
Unless we had another big mill of some kind next to it or in it, pulling off that meter.
So he's gonna send us a corrected,
Yeah, he's gonna send a blank page with the corrected name. And then where he's got this mark, this is just marked so that we know what he wants us to do when it's signed. So this would be, as far as I'm concerned, Kevin, you can sign it if we authorize to do this. You can sign it for us whenever it's in here and ready to sign.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
If I can. He had me talk to someone else. And the woman I talked to made it clear that until they have in their hand the original copy with the signature
That's right.
and the check, that they're not gonna flip whatever switch or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true. That was Alice talking.
That was Alice, okay. The baler is gonna be here.
Sorry, I took it down.
No, I'm looking at it. Baler's gonna be here on
June
the
20th.
20th.
If we approve this today, he'll have the copy FedExed over here.
Then we gotta
If
get it
depends
back
on-
to him.
Then we had give him the original.
Yeah, and
Whatever they want.
she overstated the facts a little bit to you.
Okay,
We have electricity in the building now.
that's what I thought, but I didn't want to tell her that.
There's no reason to go down that route, but that's a ploy to get these service agreements back as soon as possible.
Okay,
She's used to dealing with small businesses that may or may not pay their bills.
okay. Well, I said to her, you can take my credit card over the phone and I can reimburse, and she said, we can't do that.
It's gotta be original copy and a check. That's all.
That's what
they
she
want.
said.
Well, and I guess that would be my question. We don't owe them any more money. We've already paid it. We just gotta sign this service agreement.
I have it right here on my desk. I've not mailed it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's the
Mr. Copy,
9375.
Huh?
That's the 9375.
Yes. 93, 75, 22. Make sure it's the same.
I thought it went out. So, but anyway,
No.
we have electricity. I turn the lights on myself.
Yeah, we were out there, that's right.
Oh, we've been stealing micro
We've been
kilowatts.
stealing.
No,
Oh
because
my
it's going
gosh.
through our meter. We're gonna pay
Shame,
for it.
Make sure it's
shame.
zero.
Well, it's on the other meter.
We have a separate meter.
Yeah, we have the separate meter on.
And anything we're using is being metered. Yeah.
I think since we had not,
93, 75, 22. I thought we'd already said it.
I think she held it because we did not,
Right.
We didn't agree to
we
it.
didn't do the agreement yet, so she
Right.
held on to it.
We didn't agree to it yet. Well, I move we accept the amended service agreement that Santa Cruz has supplied for a small commercial business.
to include the rate number 2, right?
Yeah.
Rate schedule number 2.
That's part of that is the service agreement, has schedule number 2. That's what it was made. That's why I said small service agreement,
So the
commercial
agreement,
agreement.
the agreement calls for, I didn't look at all of it, it called for the rate schedule number 2.
Yep. Scroll down. Small service agreement.
Okay, got it. Page 3.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with their CEO and I said, look, dude, we don't know what that's gonna be. We can all make guesses. But he said, I'll tell you this, you have my word. If you get on the wrong rate schedule,
They'll fix it.
we will correct it over time. I said, okay, that's fair enough. Because it happens, people get on a rate schedule, they
Can't
think
afford it.
just right, and then it's nothing what they thought it was. So my big concern was and still is that we avoid that peak demand charge at all costs. And he also verbally told me that that peak demand charge would not kick in until after 5 o'clock.
That's right.
I said, okay, I'm gonna hold to that, which is not an issue with us. We
No.
won't be out there functioning after 5 o'clock.
No.
5 to 9 is their peak.
I would second your motion. I don't think we had a second on
I guess
No,
we
we
didn't.
didn't. We did not.
it. Okay, any further discussion on that?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, I'm not, let me see here.
He can't email us this, huh? This service
No, it has to
agreement.
be, he's gonna give us a hard copy that he
That's
wants
what she
in
said.
his hot hands with a stamp.
I'm going tomorrow. As are you, it sounds like.
Yes.
Bring it back.
I'm planning on.
Big boy
making that
goes, he
meeting,
can sign it,
so I
leave
can
it.
just sign it right there. if you
Yeah,
have
sign it,
Just take the check with.
Do we need?
And bring me a copy.
Oh,
Well, it has to be
here we
notarized.
go.
You gotta get it notarized though. With that signature. Yeah, I'm sure they have the ability to notarize it over there, don't they, Tom?
No, they will not.
I could,
So you're gonna have
it
to
can be
take it to
turned
the
in,
bank.
can it be turned in down here?
It has to be
No,
FedEx back to them.
No,
Back
they
to
won't
them.
want these.
They won't do it. So
Uh,
maybe you go to the bank over there and get it
It's
notarized.
Howard.
Well, you go to Salida and get it notarized, or you can come up here and get it
Yeah,
notarized.
I got 2 more
Probably
meetings up
quicker
here
It
later
would be good
today.
to come here, because then I would be sure to have a copy.
So let's just
What I'm
bring it up here and
saying,
get it notarized.
thinking, so let me throw this out. I can take said check with me. I can get the agreement, bring it back here, sign. We can FedEx it back to them. That way you get your copy,
That's the way it.
make
plays
sure that
out.
everything's good. But I should be able to go ahead and give them the check
No
tomorrow.
reason why not.
Yeah,
Or shall we?
Alan should be there, but
If
if we're gonna FedEx it back. let's
He said he's
FedEx the
gonna be
check
there.
with
FedEx
the-
the check, so
with
Dorothy
the
can hold
agreement.
on to the check too.
And
Then
I can pick them up too if you're not there.
if
We notify him and ask him to bring it.
I think that would be prudent, that one of us will bring said documents back for a signature.
Who's gonna ask him to bring it? And do we
I'll
ask
call him back. I've been talking.
Alice or do we ask Mike to bring it?
Mike.
So, since you've been communicating, if you want to, make sure they have that.
Tell him
there
we've
tomorrow.
approved it and have it there and you'll take
As
it.
soon as we vote, we'll have it approved. Any other discussion? Those in favor of accepting the new service agreement with SDECA containing rate schedule 2, signify by saying aye.
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 Uh,
Motion carries.
Bill, can you forward me that email?
Yeah. I thought I could put you on.
Might have. if I
Okay.
didn't
Maybe I didn't get it.
on the time.
Oh, I put Braden on that. Didn't put you on. Sorry, Kelly. So I will forward this to you.
Dorothy, did you want a copy as well?
I'll forward it to both.
Please. Nice.
Forward, Kelly.
I come to recycling Friday. Huh?
I just canceled the meeting.
Oh, to need to reschedule. Sorry, I missed that.
Let me know you get this, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, hang on one second. I'm checking an email to see if I need to address it here. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that received this or not. It came from Round Mountain.
Yeah, I got it as well.
Did you guys all get it just now?
old Dave
11:02.
Snyder, yeah.
So if you guys would like to read through that and see if I'm looking for a date as to when they need this.
12th. So we need to act on it today. We'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would move to write a letter of support to Round Mountain. They need this off channel reservoir.
I, a second.
Okay,
And again, this is just a letter of support to that end to the Bureau of Reclamation.
I was gonna make sure we had something,
He's got
for
the
the
template.
record, we all just received an email at 11:02 from Round Mountain asking for a letter of support for a, where did you see that at?
Borders for the Bureau of Reclamation.
The Bureau of
Is that what you're looking at
Reclamation.
or? Sorry.
Letter of support for the Water Smart Drought Response Program funding opportunity.
They are going for a grant to build this reservoir. It's a 150 acre foot reservoir and they are seeking funding for that and asking for a letter of support. And so we now have a letter or a motion on the floor to write that letter of support for them. Any further discussion on that, gentlemen?
Can someone forward that email to me too, please? So-
Consider it done.
And Dorothy,
Thank you.
put Dorothy on it.
I guess it would just be a matter of who's gonna do it.
Dorothy can put the words in there. Oops, yeah.
You forward it to me then too.
I am.
Thank you.
You two are getting to be a bother.
But a very good bother.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If we keep bothering, then one day maybe we won't have to bother.
That's right. I'd volunteer to write this letter, get it to Dorothy and get it on some letterhead and get her dealt with.
Did you get the other letter? Mike Allen? The Sangre de Crystal Electric?
I don't know, because I don't have.
Oh,
it, but-
that's right.
And Tom.
Dorothy, did you get,
Say that again.
did you get both letters that we just
Just in
sent?
Goshen.
No.
Okay, so Tom has volunteered to go ahead and fill in the blanks and finish getting this letter wrote. They do have somewhat of a format here. And to get that on county letterhead to go back out today. If that's agreeable with everyone, I have no problem with that.
Me either.
I mean, if you guys would rather do it.
I did the last one. I did the last one.
I think that works well.
Oh, do you? Okay.
So
I gotta go.
any further discussion? Okay, I won't keep it going then. Those in favor of writing a letter of support for Round Mountain Water for funding, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Do we have any additional items of business, gentlemen?
I do not.
Nope.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
you may.
Laura came in and was wondering about Juneteenth, if you guys are going to recognize that or not.
As a holiday for the county,
We took that up last
Yes.
time. We didn't.
not on the.
No, they just passed.
I know
just
they,
Colorado.
Passed it as a state holiday.
I'm not interested in it, but that's me.
I believe that would be my opinion. We have the
Yeah,
calendar set.
we've already set the calendar.
I think by acclamation, we will keep our current calendar.
Okay.
Anything else here in the room? I'm not seeing, we're still down to, I think that's all county employees. I'm not seeing a hand raised for public comment.
Joni, do you have
Do you have
anything
any,
to say?
Johnny? Would you like to keep us here for another
No,
45
no,
minutes?
no.
for
You're
public?
between us and lunch.
Give me time to
Me
write
getting
this
out of
letter if you do, so.
Okay, having no other business, I will adjourn this meeting at 11:24 a.m.